Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me properly?
Yes, and I think I'm hearing.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to just share my screen. All right. So we can begin?
We're already live.
Okay. Okay. I'm not sure why I'm not showing up on this.
Oh, I think this is an overlay.
Okay. Bismillah. Okay. Alhamdulillah. Bismillah salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is the first of, inshallah, a number of sessions we're going to go through to try and navigate texts, inshallah, in the Arabic language that get more and more and more progressively complicated. I know that we have covered the reader and it's been some time. Those of you that are watching this that may not have done the Dream program with us, the prerequisites, you can almost consider this a course by itself, an add-on course by itself to the Dream program. Um, some people are saying they can't hear anything. Can you hear, Jawad?
I can hear you.
Okay. So the intent of this is if you have background in Arabic, you have a decent grasp of basic sentence structures, grammar, you've done at least Quranic Arabic grammar to the point where you understand the technicalities of i'rab and sarf and things like that. But now you want to move on to basically reading Islamic texts, reading Arabic books, and being able to make sense of what the author is saying. Then it's almost a separate skill set. It's not the same skill set as all of the other stuff you've done before. It builds on top of that. This set of sessions may even be beneficial for people that have gone to Islamic seminaries, even graduated from them and uh, learned their stuff but got rusty over time. So they know quite a bit, but when it comes to picking up an Arabic book, they still have a little bit of trouble and they don't quite know where to begin because sometimes for those kinds of students, going to a basic Arabic class is too basic and then picking up an advanced text is too advanced. So this is right in between. We're going to build that skill set little by little. But I think what you're going to need, as my advice for as we navigate through these sessions, is the same principles that I apply to try and become more proficient in reading Arabic texts myself, and that is that you have to do 90% of the work yourself. So the texts that are being supplied to you, you have to look up the meanings of the words. You have to struggle with the sentence structure, be completely baffled by what's going on for a while, really chew over it, and then send me not your basic level questions, but your questions after it clearly illustrates that you put the work in and try to understand. And those are the kinds of questions I'm going to entertain as I answer questions today, because you have submitted questions for today's session for this text. As I answer these questions, I am going to read them off to you. I don't know if you were able to add them to the banners here or not. Um, but if we haven't, regardless, I'm just going to start reading them because I have them here on my phone, inshallah. So the first question is about page 6, and it's about the word wahdaha. Actually, that was question number 2. I kind of lost track of what the numbers of the questions were. Okay, here's number 1. Yeah, so the first question is the word at-tariq feminine? Why is it jama'athum at-tariq? I don't quite know which page that is, but jama'at is used for at-tariq being the fa'il. And that is correct because at-tariq is actually feminine. Just like sabil, just like multiple ways for pathways. And we've talked about that in the words because the Arab sets so are feminine. These are called mu'annath sama'i. And so jama'at is completely fine. Jama'a, incidentally, is also completely fine. Okay, moving on. What's the second question, Jawad? I want to ask a question about page 6, line 8, the wahdaha. So let's go to page 6 and line 8, and I will explain that to you. Okay, this is, page 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. أن التعبير القرآني تعبير فني مقصود. Am I in the right place? line. Okay, yeah. لم تراعى في هذا الموضع الآية وحدها ولا السورة وحدها. It's going to be وحدها. And let me explain what's going on here. راعى يراعي, the verb راعى يراعي ends with the ألف مقصورة. It's را, عين, and ya, الرعية, like grazing or the flock that you're supposed to graze. So ra'a is to take from it a figurative meaning. In the fa'ala family, what we call the jahada family, is to take into consideration. So, or to be considered. Lam tura'a, it wasn't taken into consideration. And al-ayatu and wala suratu in this sentence, these two words are the na'ibul fa'il. So this and this is the na'ibul fa'il of lam tura'a. So the ayah wasn't considered and the surah wasn't considered. And then stressing the ayah, this is actually considered a hal. So wahdaha, neither the ayah by itself was considered in this context, nor the surah by itself, but in this way, the entire Quran or Quranic expression, all of it was considered. رُوعِيَ في هذا الوضع التعبير القرآني كله. So that's what's going on here with wahda. It's pretty much when you see wahdahu, wahdaka, wahdahum, or wahdaha rather, then it's pretty much going to be nasb because it occurs as a hal quite often. Okay, so next question. Mushtaqat, derivatives of al-maut and of sayyi'at. What are the derivatives? So here the author has said something on page 8. Let me just tell you what he said. وأن الموت ومشتقاته, and I'm saying that because it's going to be nasb because anna is there, and at is a jama' mu'annath salim, it's a feminine plural, so we don't put a fatha on it. So مشتقاته تكرر بقدر الحياة فقد تكرر كل منهما 145 مرة. وهل الموت إلا للأحياء. Okay, so mushtaqat means derivatives, and here he could be referring to mita or mayyita or mayyit. I don't know if he's referring to the adjectives also or just variations of the masdar. So I don't know his intent, and that I don't have a way of knowing from just the text. Maybe he's referring to the verbal forms too, but I doubt that. Or maybe he is. Maybe he's using all the verbal forms, mata, yamutu, imata, any variation of maut that occurs in the Quran, he's considering in its mushtaqat. And then with al-hayat, it might just be al-hayat, it could be ahya or hayya, and it could be all of those variations. Allahu a'lam. But that would be a word count project to figure out what he intends here. Next question. Page 6, when we talk about malakut ta'wil, two words come up in this paragraph, al-muftatih, al-muqatta'a, which is unclear, making the understanding of the paragraph difficult. Okay, so this was page what again, Jawad? 6?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so go back up. So here we have page 6, and muftatiha, where is that? I see
Last
al-muqatta'a.
paragraph.
I see al-muqatta'a there. Where is al-muftatiha? Am I not?
Maybe it's on the next page.
Okay, yeah, okay. جاء في ملاك التأويل في السور التي تبدأ بالأحرف المقطعة. So what comes in Malak al-Ta'wil, meaning what is written in Malak al-Ta'wil, the book, about the surahs which begin with the disjointed letters. So the al-huruf al-muqatta'a is the ism maf'ul. It's an adjective al-ahruf. Al-ahruf is letters, so the disjointed letters. So that's the opening translation. إن هذه السور إنما وقع في أول كل سورة منها. So in these surahs, what actually occurs is at the opening of each of these surahs from within this group, meaning the group that has opening alif lam mim kaf ha ya ain sad type. منها ما كثر ترداده فيما تركب من كلمها. You'll find a lot of you'll find in instances of lots of recurring variations of the same words, the same letters and words that are made up of the same letters. So he's saying alif lam mim. You find lots of alif lam and mim in Surah Al-Baqarah, or unusually high frequency of it, or qaf. Surah qaf. You might find an excessive occurrence of the letter qaf, and so on. ويوضح لك ما ذكرت, and what will clarify to you what I just mentioned, ما ذكرت أنك, that you إذا نظرت في سورة منها, if you were to take a look at any of the surahs from that group, بما يماثلها في عدد كلمها وحروفها, in what is equivalent to it in the number of its words and letters, وجدت الحرف المفتتح بها تلك السورة إفرادا وتركيبا أكثر عددا في كلمها منها في نظيرتها ومماثلتها في عدد كلمها وحروفها. This is kind of convoluted sentence, but the point that he's making, let me explain to you little by little, is he's saying if you look at a surah from this group, which is similar in number of words or letters to another surah that is not from this group, meaning a surah that doesn't begin with the huruf muqatta'at, you'll find that the surahs, the letter with which these surahs began individually or even as part of compound words are more in number في كلمها, in its wording, في نظيرتها ومماثلتها في عدد كلمها وحروفها. So if you basically, the point then is نظير means equivalent, right? So the equivalent surah that is of the same size, you're not going to find that recurrence of letters in that surah, and you'll see a distinct difference between that and the surah that began with the huruf muqatta'at. So to put this simply, for example, if you like to look at Surah Sad, you might find a recurrence of Sad way more in Surah Sad than any other surah that's similar size to Surah Sad. That's what he's trying to say here. Okay. Does la make khilaf nasb? I'm not sure what page that is from. Jawad, do you have
It's
any?
the very first page. I think it's the first thing in the chapter.
Okay. So let's look at that. Yeah, la khilafa is like la ilaha, la ikraha. Yeah, this is la nafiya lil jins. And that's a common way of starting a sentence. You can tell from the la that that's how it's going to go. So yeah, that's fine. First paragraph, a'la kalamin. If it is a noun adjective, why is the adjective a'la before the noun? If arfa'ihi is an adjective. Okay, I think you have the student that posed this question has a fundamental misunderstanding of this issue. So let's figure that out together, okay? So لا خلاف بين أهل العلم, there's no disagreement between people of knowledge أن التعبير القرآني, the Quranic expression, تعبير فريد في علوه, is unique in its exalted nature, وسموه, which is a synonym for علو, وأنه أعلى كلام, and it is the highest speech. So this is actually, you know, let me open up my Word document and see if I can share that screen also with you. Hold on. Okay, so now I'm going to show you something on my screen. I'll open up my Word document. So if you have Akbaru, I despise this font, so I'm going to change that. Okay, if you have Akbaru, there are multiple ways. This is a comparative adjective. Let the motorcycle pass. Okay, so this is a comparative adjective. It can be used in multiple ways. One of the ways you can use it is Akbaru, let's say Sinnan, bigger in age. So this is an example of tamyiz, right? You can use this as Akbaru and then hum, and that would become an idafa, and this would be afdalut tafdil, right? So this would be like the superlative, the biggest of them, right? So that would be afdalut tafdil. Then similarly, you can use, and this was with a plural. So the afdalut tafdil was used, the hum is a plural. But if I say Another form of afdal tafdeel is akbaru alimin, the biggest scholar. This is also afdal tafdeel. Okay, the biggest scholar. So akbarul ulama and akbaru alimin. We covered this in our program. So that's what's happening here with the singular. So in the text you see a'la kalamin, highest speech, just like akbaru alimin, greatest scholar, like greatest of scholars, right? And a'la kalam, but you use the singular with nakira form, wa arfa'ihi, and the highest of it. So it's just kind of building on that. So it's arfa'uhu rather. It's both khabar. Annahu is mubtada, a'la kalam, wa arfa'uhu. Okay. So that question is dealt with. Let me stop sharing. Okay, now what's the next question? The grammatical rule of akthar, is it not fully flexible? Where is this question coming from? You know?
I will find that while we do the next one.
Well, it's a pretty basic question. I don't know if this deserves a discussion, but I'm going to just simply say a word or two. Akthar is a comparative. It's an ism tafdeel, and it's mamnu' min as-sarf. You should know that the rafa' version is aktharu, the nasb is akthara, the majroor is also akthara, unless it occurs as a mudaf or it has alam al-ta'rif, alam in the beginning. If those two situations are not there, then it is by itself mamnu' min as-sarf. And it's an unreasonable question to ask. What is the grammatical role of a word? Because a word can be used in an infinite number of ways, and grammar is to identify the role of a word in a particular sentence. So when you say, what is the role of this word, it's as if you're saying, what are all the possibilities in language and in grammar in which this word may be used. So that's why I want you to really think about how to phrase your questions better, inshallah. Okay, go on. In page 4, the word tahadda is referring to which two things? Okay, well, it's not referring to two things. Both of them challenged them most of the time. Okay, I'm not going to go to page 4. I'm going to challenge you on this question. I'm really getting a kick out of that. Okay, tahadda is like hada. Hada is not two, it's one. It's naqis. The fi'l is naqis. هو تحدى هما تحديا هم تحدوا. So it is actually a naqis singular verb, and the entire passage is using the word in its singular form. It's never been used in the dual form in this passage. Challenge met. Next question. In the last passage, paragraph fi is maf'ul hal. Yeah, so last passage is a little bit tricky, so let me explain that one to you. I saw that and I was like, many of you guys are going to have trouble with. But you know, one of my favorite things this time was somebody asked, there's a question on page 29 in a 23-page document. I thought that was a very spiritual question. I really liked that question. It touched me. This is very good. Okay.
Wait, sorry, say that again?
Somebody asked, there's a question about page 29 on a 23-page document. That was my favorite question. Was
Maybe they're just reading ahead.
Okay, let me explain this to you guys. أما إنهم لو تدبروه, had they then as far as you know, the fact is, had they contemplated it, لفتحت أقفال القلوب, the locks of the heart would have opened. ولana, lana is a verb, so it's not la and noon. It's not لأن, it's lana. Lana يلين means to become soft. لana ما كان عصيا من الأفئدة, and whatever used to be hard from within the hearts would have become soft. Whatever used to be rebellious from within the hearts would have become soft. So the ما كان عصيا من الأفئدة is all of it is the fa'il of lana. Okay, and the min al-af'ida is a sifa of asiyan. Okay. وَلَا أُوقِدَتْ مَصَابِيحُ, and lamps would have been lit up. So to light a blaze or to light up. So masabih is actually the na'ibul fa'il. So lamps would have been lit up. عَهْدُهَا بِالنُّورِ بَعِيدٌ, that's a new sentence عهدها بعيد. Whose, whose life or whose age has been so far away from light. Meaning this, let me highlight this for you. This, عهدها بالنور بعيد, this part is actually an adjective of masabih. Masabih itself is mamnu' min as-sarf. So we say لأوقدت مصابيح, and then because it's nakira, because it's not proper, you can have an entire sentence become its adjective. And that's why he went out of his way to put the dhamma on ahdu, because there was no other way to make sense of ahdu. Because if you applied all of the grammar you've ever learned, uqidat is feminine, ahad is clearly masculine, that cannot be its na'ibul fa'il. Masabih is the only candidate for na'ibul fa'il. So he's telling you by that one dhamma, that is a new sentence, homie. Look out. Ahduha bin nuri ba'id, lamps who for ages had been distant from light, whose ages had been different from light, distant from light, would have been lit up. Okay. Okay. Back to here. Let me remove my stream. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so we covered that, right? The ha is referring to masabih. How come there's a phrase على أن عدد الشجرات on the 10th page? Because على is supposed to have a majroor. It certainly is, and its majroor can be three things. Harf jar, like على, can have an ism as its majroor. It can have an على أن يأتوا as a majroor. So now its majroor is a sentence involving an, or it can be على أنه حرف. So it can be any of these three things. You can make, using an or anna, you can have a fi mahal jar sentence that would be playing the role of the majroor of the ala. Good review for you. 12. We really knocking this out. Okay. 12. Or page 13, al-ma'nawiyya is feminine ya and nisba version of the original word ma'na. Yes, that's correct. I can't find the sarf of this. I found ism maf'ul. Ma'ni. It's not, okay, ma'niyun, okay. For the verb, ana yani or aniya yani, yeah. But I can't find the sarf of ma'nan. Ma'nan, it would be the masdar. Ma'nan would be the masdar. And if you're asking about ma'nawi, where the waw came from, I don't know if you're asking that. I'm not sure, but I'll answer that anyway. So here's al-ma'nawi. So there's al-ma'na and there's al-ma'nawi. So you have Islam, and how do you make the ya and nisba? Islamiyun, right? Islamiyun, Islamic, right? Or you have deen as a masdar, deenun, deenun, and then the ya and nisba, deeniyun, right? That's how you do it. It's simple. So you have ma'nan, the masdar, and there's already a ya there, and you've got to add ya and nisba. So ma'nayiyun would be too weird. So one of those yas became a wow, because then it sounds like you're not a weirdo. So it became ma'nawiyun, and that's where ma'nawi came from. You get what I mean?
That's the last question.
Okay, there's a TR notice on some of the questions in my document. TR means translation related. Let me read them. Or let's read some of the yellow questions. Let's see. You guys have trouble with some of those. Can you try and copy paste some of them? That will make my life a little easier.
I don't have whatever document you're referring to.
You're about to.
Okay.
Share. Jawad al-Bayina?
Yep.
Check your email, please. And I will also answer. Let me start with TR1. It's not on the screen, but I will read it to you guys. In the sentence leading to paragraph number 7, وجدت الحرف المفتتح بها تلك السورة. Your name is cutting off my view of the text. Are you doing something with it?
Yeah, I'm copying it over.
Okay, just show me on the screen then, because then I'll read it from there. In the sentence leading to the paragraph, page number 7, the document, وجدت الحرف المفتتح بها تلك السورة.
Too big.
Okay, it's too big. Okay, but I get it, and that's on page 7, leading paragraph of page 7. So let's translate that together. I think we did it, but let's just go over that together. Okay, so I'm going to explain to you what's happening in the grammar of this sentence. It's really interesting. إذا نظرت, if you were to take a look, في سورة, at any surah, منها, from that group aforementioned, بما يماثلها في عدد كلمها وحروفها, as opposed to what is equivalent to it in the number of its words and letters. Meaning, if you were to look at this surah in comparison to another surah that is similar in size by count of words or by count of letters, وجدت الحرف. Now remember, harf is feminine. You will find. So it's, how do I know it's وجدت? You will find, because the context is in the beginning. أنك إذا نظرت وجدت. If you were to take a look, you will find. That's what's happening here. Okay, so you will find al-harf al-muftatiha biha tilka surah. So the word by which iftataha biha, that is the kind of a complex adjective. The ha refers to the harf. The harf with which it with which it opened, with which what opened? Tilka surah. That surah opened. Okay, so the muftatih, even though it's masculine here, is referring to tilka surah. So it's a convoluted phrase, but the word with which it opened, and the it becomes tilka surah. Okay, with the words, the letters with which that surah opened. Ifradan wa tarkiban, either individually or part of a compound. أكثر عددا is more in number. في كلمها منها. في نظيرتها ومماثلتها, in the words it has from it, meaning made up of those same huruf, as opposed to its equivalent or equal in the number of another surah in number of words or huruf. So it's a lot of repetition in the sentence, but I explained what this meant previously. Can you look at another TR question, Jawad? Page 9. Okay, let me go to page 9 and the qul qalu business. Yeah, I saw that question. And this, okay. وَأَنَّ لَفْظَ قَالُوا, and that the word قَالُوا, it's in parentheses, so please pay attention to the parentheses. تكرر, and then the number 332, 332 مرة. So it repeated 332 times. ومن عجب, and it's strange, أن يتساوى هذا اللفظ مع لفظ قل. It's very strange that this is equal to the word قل, say. So they said and say are equal in number. الذي هو أمر من الله إلى خلقه, which is a commandment from Allah to His creation. فسبحان من قال, and so how perfect is the one who said قل 332 times. فكان القول 332 مرة. So the word, the speech, meaning whatever comes after qul, what should you say, is 332 times. So basically, what he's saying is they say is 332 times, say is 332 times, as if their statement and the answer is equal in number. But the qul is not part of the, or a qawl is not part of that. It's not in parentheses. So he's saying what comes after qul, the qawl itself, is also 332 times. Okay, moving along. What does he mean by resembling or similar surah? We discussed this, size and number of letters. Is it khilafun or khilafa or both can apply? No, khilafa generally, because it's la nafi allegiance. Why is it that when we say bi khilafi, we don't say bi khilafin? Well, my dear, whoever asked this question, you can say bi khilafi if it's a mudaf and there's a mudaf ilayh after it, and you can say bi khilafin if there's no mudaf ilayh after it. So again, you're trying to make one word look one way all the time. That you've been studying grammar for 2 years. You should know one word does many things depending on where you use it. Stop trying to force it to be the same way. Okay, next. 14 letters being spoken about in the last paragraph of page 7. The 14 letters with which the surahs open with disjointed letters. Alif, Lam, Mim, Qaf, Kaf, Ha, Ya, Ain, Sad, Ha, Mim, Sad. That's what he's referring to. They add up to 14 letters. Go on. Nothing more?
Can you not see that the ticker one at the bottom?
Oh, the ticker one? It disappeared.
It says even after translating those missing words in the Milak at-Ta'wil paragraph, it's still difficult to translate.
At the end of page 6, did we do that one?
We talked about, but did we translate it? I don't remember if you translated it or not.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. That's okay. You'll get over it. It's done. Next. On page 5, first line of the paragraph, how do you translate haraba when it comes with the harf of jar lam? I couldn't find anything about it on edgetal.net. Okay, well, you looked. That's cool. Page 5, was it?
Yep.
All right, and it's first paragraph?
First line of the last paragraph.
First line of the last paragraph. This is كان صناديد قريش وأعتاهم محاربة للرسول. I think that's what she's referring to, or he's referring to محاربة للرسول.
Yep.
Okay, so muharibatan. Yeah. So the leaders of the Quraysh were at war with the messenger. So you can use lam as zaida here. It's not a big deal. Muharibatan, because sanadid is a broken plural, so the feminine is used. Okay. Next.
Same page, line 9. What's the i'rab of ashaddahum?
You didn't change it on the screen. I didn't change it on the screen.
Yeah, I'm slow to copy over stuff.
Okay. Same page, line 9, you said?
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What word?
Ashaddahum.
Oh, okay. وأشدهم كيدا له. What's the question? Why is it a shadda?
What's the i'rab? And I don't understand what it's ma'tuf on.
Oh, it's muharibatan, warring with the messenger and being the most severe of the Arabs in their scheming against him. So ashadda is ma'tuf on muhariba. It's the part of the khabar of kana. كان صناديد قريش وأعتاهم مبتدأ واسم كان محاربة للرسول وأشدهم كيدا له ونيلا منه. All of that is khabar kana. What kind of word is kauniya? Is it? It's feminine of kaunin. What kind of ism is this? Okay, I'll show you my word document. So kaun means existence. Kauni means suppose existence related slash material. So material universe related. And when it occurs, for example, for shay'un kawniyun, something material related, and ashya'u or umur, let's just say umurun kawniyatun, material or existence related, maybe even material existence. So why is it feminine? Because it's describing something feminine. Why is it masculine? Because it's describing something masculine. Because it's an adjective. Why is it an adjective? Because it has a ya and nisba, the whole point of which is to make it an adjective. Last paragraph.
This one's too long to fit again.
Okay, I'll read as far as I can, then you read the rest for me. Last para. As per my understanding of the text, it says that when the two qaf are merged, it is referring to only to Allah, as He is one. But when the two qaf are separated, it's referring to both the meaning of
Messenger,
Messenger and Allah.
and Allah. But the
I'm not sure what it
example
said, so let's go to page, was it 14?
14, last paragraph.
ومن ذلك يشاقي ويشاقق وهما لغتان, and they are two dialects. الفك لغة الحجاز, separating the letters is the Hijazi dialect. والإدغام لغة تميم, and separating them, or fusing them rather, is the dialect of Tamim. لكن القرآن استعملها استعمالا خاصا. The Quran used them in a specific way. فحيث ورد ذكر الرسول فك الإدغام. So when he mentioned the messenger, he separated the fusion. وحيث لم يرد ذكر الرسول بل ورد ذكر الله وحده أدغم. Udghim means passive, it was fused, right? So when when the messenger is mentioned is not mentioned, but only Allah is mentioned, then the letters are fused. ذلك بأنهم شاقوا الله ورسوله. That's, you can't separate that one anyway. ومن يشاقق الله ورسوله فإن الله شديد العقاب. So Rasul is mentioned, the qafs are separated. ومن يشاقق الرسول من بعد ما تبين. So Rasul is mentioned, the qafs are separated. And then وَمَنْ يُشَاقِ اللَّهَ, so the qafs are fused. وَلَعَلَّهُ وَحَّدَ الْحَرْفَيْنِ وَأَدْغَمَهُمَا فِي حَرْفٍ وَاحِدٍ, and perhaps he unified the two letters and fused them into one. لِأَنَّهُ ذَكَرَ اللَّهَ وَحْدَهُ, because he mentioned Allah alone. وَفَكَّهُمَا وأظهرهما, and he separated them and made them both apparent. لأنه ذكر الله والرسول فكان اثنين, because he mentioned Allah and the messenger, as if he's saying that when you mention the messenger, obviously Allah is implied, because whoever disobeys Allah has actually disobeyed the messenger, has actually disobeyed Allah. But Allah can be mentioned in ways that the messenger is not included, but the messenger cannot be mentioned in ways where Allah is not included. Perhaps that's the point that he's making. First paragraph, second line. Is supposed to be some kind of, yes. Okay, let's look at it. First page?
Page 20.
ودرس تناسب سوره سورة سورة وتناسب آياته آية آية وتناسب فواتح السور وخواتمها تناسب فواتح السور وخواتمها فكان قطعة فنية واحدة محكمة الربط فخمة النسج. Yeah, it is خبر كان. Why? What's the question? If it's خبر كان, then what happens? Why isn't it كنت? Oh, why isn't it كانت? Typo. Okay. Guys, when you ask a question, don't put typos. It's so bad. It's so bad. Some of you wrote surah with a sad, which means photograph. Come on, 2 years of Arabic. Now you're writing كانت is كنت. First, يراش السهم. قبل الرمي يراش السهم. Before you shoot the arrow, put the feathers on properly. Anyway, here kana is referring to something else. It's referring to the Quran, or it's referring to the study, the dars, and so it doesn't have to be feminine. Just like you can say al-Qur'anu rahmatun. Quran is a rahmah, so you don't have to make Quran feminine. The same way. And qit'a is an idea, right? It's a masdar type of word. So you don't have to match it in gender. Like I could say your sister is adab, but adab is masculine, but your sister is still feminine. I mean, I'm joking about your sister, what I'm saying. Go on. As mentioned in the text, jama' is used as tamyiz, indicating numbers 3 to 10. Jama' is used for 30 days of the month. Ayyam is used for any plural more than 2. I don't understand your question. It's an invalid question. I'm not getting it. Let's move on. Example mentioned in the text, Surah Al-Anfal ayah 13. Why merge the version shaqu is used? No, we already answered that. The sun is too much. I'm gonna. Last page. First paragraph is quite confusing. Please, Ustad, explain its i'rab. I'rab. What's a'rab? A'rab is the Bedouins. You want me to explain they're Bedouins? This is what I mean. Even if you're gonna write in like, what is this? Arlish, but just be mindful. I expect better. I expect better. Also, last 2 lines of Leita. I don't even know what that means, but we're gonna go to the last page. Jawad, let's do it. They want the whole page explained? Is that what they're saying?
It was the first paragraph.
We did kind of do that.
And then the last 2 lines, which start with later.
Give me a
Whatever
second.
that is.
Is there a Leita in the last paragraph?
It's the very last two lines on the page.
Okay, very last two. Oh, okay. All right, let's translate this paragraph again. أما إنهم لو تدبروه, had they, these people, had they contemplated it, لفتحت أقفال القلوب, the locks of the hearts would have been, the locks of the hearts would have been opened. وَلَوْنَ مَا كَانَ عَصِيًّا مِنَ الْأَفْئِدَةِ, and whatever of the hearts was rebellious would have become soft. وَلَأُوقِدَتْ مَصَابِيحُ أَعَدُهَا بِالنُّورِ بَعِيدٍ, basically saying that lamps would have been lit, that for ages light had been so far away from them. وَأُشْرِقَتْ دُرُوبٌ, and pathways would have been lit up. لم يسقط عليها فيما مضى نور, uh, pathways on which before this light had not shined would have become illuminated. وَلَحَيَّتْ نُفُوسٌ, and people, or souls would have come to life. مَا عَرَفَتْ قَبْلَ ذَلِكَ حَيَاةً, that did not know life before it. Beautiful. ليت شعري هل يفقه الناس. This is a kalam insha'i. If only people could understand how I feel. If only people could understand this my feeling. Could people, ألا ليت الناس يفقهون, if only, won't people just understand? Like, why don't they get it? Okay. At the end of page 15, I don't understand why some words are feminine when they don't need to be. Huh? All right, at the end of page 15, let's understand why something is feminine when it don't need to be. I'm guessing it's this last paragraph, right?
Yeah, they gave a few examples. They said Faniya and Mutakamila are feminine when they're referring to at-tawkid, while Mutanasiban is
That's your
masculine.
problem. فإذا نظرت إلى التوكيد, if you were to take a look at or contemplate emphasis مثلا as a way of example, وجدته على تباعد ومواطنه وتفرقها, آم، وجدته على تباعد ومواطنه وتفرقها في القرآن وحدة فنية متكاملة. Wahda is actually a single unit, an artistic whole that is complete, comprehensive. So the wahda, fanniya, mutakamila are mawsuf sifa, where the mawsuf is wahda. Yeah. So that's what's happening here. And then after wahda, he's doing a badal of wahda with mutanasiban. So not only is it one artistic, holistic unit, it is also correlated, interconnected في كل موطن مع السياق, in every place with its context, الذي ورد فيه منسقا معه ومنسقا مع كل المواطن الأخرى, in which it occurs stitched together within it and with all the other contexts in which tawqid occurs, meaning emphasis occurs.
I believe we covered this one already,
Yeah,
and this one too.
yeah. How can you determine whether a fi'l is read active or passive? Rarely it can be both. Or can it be read both? No, not all the time. If so, does the effect? Yes, it does. Okay, so yeah, let's look at paragraph 4. Okay, the page 4 it says.
Page 4, paragraph 4, and then there's another example as well.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, you could read it both ways. The challenge was further emphasized, or he emphasized the challenge. Sure. But typically, when authors are using the passive, then they like to let you know by putting a dhamma in the beginning. So, unless it's obvious. If it could be read two ways, they like to let you know. And if they don't let you know, then go with active. That would be standard.
The second example he gave was page 21, paragraph 2.
Page 21, paragraph 2. Durisa? Which word?
Kushifa or kashafa.
فكانت جوانب إعجاز لا تحصى أخوة في أسلوبه وتعبيره متفقه. I don't see the kashaf. Where's kashf? Am I second paragraph? You said, right?
Yep, page 21, paragraph 2. That's what it says.
Is it yaktashifu?
Oh, you're on the wrong page.
Oh, you said 20.
21.
No, كشف لهم. Because iktashafa is lazim. Kashafa is not lazim, I believe. From what I can remember. Yeah, it wouldn't make sense as kashafa. He discovered for them. That doesn't make sense. It's kushifa. It was discovered for them. It became clear to them. It became apparent to them. Other question? I find it difficult to translate the last 3 pages, even though I know all of them for that, but the language used is difficult to translate into beautiful phrase. Is there any advice, Ustad? Okay, let's see. Experience will do that. But we can try to run through I mean, this is pretty straightforward. The only way, I think the only way you're not getting a good translation is if you're not seeing how the sentence actually comes together. And I need you to spend a little bit of time trying to figure out how the sentence comes together. I'll also start uploading audios done by one of the TAs, line by line reading of the Arabic and an English translation, a suggested English translation of the text that you can use as a guide. But really, I want you to figure things out yourself. But at least for these texts, inshallah, I'll provide that resource. But I use that as a last resort, because if you go to that first, you're not preparing yourself, you're not developing that skill, you're just leaning on somebody else's work. Inshallah. Was that it? We have more?
There's still more.
Page 6, last paragraph. Everybody loves page 6.
There's actually a ton more.
Okay.
Like we
Tell
could
me
go
what
at this for hours.
Huh?
We could go at this for hours.
From the pre-posted questions or the live questions?
From the ones in the document that you gave me.
Okay. Yeah. So this is gonna be the last question I deal with, and then after that, the other Ustad Jawad will also do a session covering all the remaining questions, and we'll move on to the next text, inshallah. Yeah, we covered this. I can understand why there's confusion about that paragraph. It's not the best composition. We can take one more question.
Okay, I'll just read it off. In page 5, paragraph 2, line 2, the words sa'u and yasilu, their meanings are not clear, and the difficulty in understanding the rest of the paragraph.
Page 5.
Paragraph 2, line 2.
Oh, okay. Wasa'u, and they tried. And ila comes with sa'a, so that's married to it, so they tried to, or they tried that. And la yasila ila al-udhun, that it doesn't reach the ears. They tried that it won't reach the ears. لأنهم يعلمون, because they knew full well أن مجرد وصوله إلى السمع, that just it reaching to the hearing, it accessing the hearing, يحدث في النفس دويا هائلا وهزة عنيفا, will cause some epic stuff. That stuff you gotta look up. دويا هائلا وهزة عنيفة. Okay, that was the last one. I hope you guys are enjoying the struggle. And inshallah, this opens the doors for a lot of really fun reading, inshallah. And the other Sajawad will be letting you know for the next session, maybe even in a follow up session to this one. Hopefully, these answers were of benefit to all of you. We'll be in touch. Barakallahu li wa lakum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.